come on, why does this come? She developed gallbladder problems, and she had to get it taken out. It's a lot for me because that's my daughter.
All rise for the jury. Please be seated.
All right, do the parties stipulate to the presence of the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I just want to tell you that I apologize for the delay this morning. And this, I think it happens more so on my Wednesdays. That's my business court day. And I think everyone here knows, they just take longer. They just do. And what can you do? It wasn't an issue with the lawyers in this case. I had other matters I had to deal with. And I just wanted to let you know that, because the lawyers here have been, and we normally don't see this, but they have been extremely efficient. And this doesn't happen all the time. Trust me. But anyway, Mr. Kemp, it's my understanding you're ready to call your next witness today.
Yes, Your Honor, we would call Jeffrey Desotel, D-E-S-O-T-E-L-L.
Yes, sir. Sir, please watch your step as you ascend. Please put those items down, face and raise your hand.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
May you state and spell your name for the record?
Jeffrey Desotel. Desotel.
Thank you.
Please have a seat. It is on wheels. Be cautious, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Put that a little bit so we get back to the schedule. Tell the jury your name again.
Jeffrey Desotel. Desotel.
And Mr. Desotel, where are you from?
I live in Henderson currently.
Where were you from originally?
Detroit, Michigan.
And where'd you work after you left high school in Detroit?
When I left high school, I went to college for a year, and then I went to the U.S. Army.
U.S. Army?
Yes, sir.
And where were you stationed at when you were in the U.S. Army?
Fort Benning, Europe, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, South Carolina, Fort Jackson, South Carolina, back to Fort Benning, up to Fort Knox, and then I retired.
How long did you spend in the Army?
21 years, 1 month, 9 days.
As long as you remember that.
Oh, yes.
Okay. What were your jobs in the Army?
Primarily airborne infantry to start off with. Then I was an air assault school instructor for 3 years. I immediately went to be a drill sergeant for 3 years after that. Then, well, I forgot to mention I was in Hawaii, sorry. 25th ID out there, I was a platoon sergeant out there for 3 years. And then I went recruiting for 6.
Okay. How long were you a drill sergeant?
3 years.
Does the military have procedures?
Yes, very much so.
Did you have to follow those procedures in the military?
Yes,
And did you do that?
yes,
So you're used to following instructions?
correct.
When did you come to Las Vegas?
2011, August.
What brought you to Las Vegas?
Family.
How did it come to your attention that there was a job opening at Real Water?
It was online. I noticed it online, doing a job search. I don't remember, sorry.
And approximately when was this?
5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago.
Can you give us a year?
17, I want to say 2017.
And so you saw an ad for what position?
Basically supervisor.
Were you interviewed?
Yes, briefly.
Who interviewed you?
Blaine
Jones?
Jones, yes.
When you started Real Water? Did you start working on Real Water?
Yes.
Approximately when?
I don't remember the month, but 2017.
How long did you stay at Real Water?
I really don't remember, but I can only, 6 months, not long. It wasn't long at all.
And what was your job position?
Basically a supervisor.
And can you explain to the jury what that entailed?
It entailed making sure the efficiency and effectivity of the production line and goals are met for the day, providing how many pallets we need for the day for whatever shipments need to go out, and ensuring all the folks that work on the line are taken care of, they're safe, and their well-being is taken care of. And also we produce. So in other words, coaching and mentoring them to execute the best they can.
Did they give you a title at one point?
You know, the system they use there, the title would have been a director, but director of what? You're a supervisor. I was hired in as a supervisor.
Okay. Did they hold you out as the director of quality assurance?
No.
I'm not asking if you were, I'm asking if they told other people
No.
that, okay? Let me see. This is your deposition, Mr. Desotel. Would you take a look at page 53, line 18, and see if that refreshes your recollection?
Yeah, I don't remember saying this, but I got this, yes, I did.
Okay, so they held you out as the director of quality control,
Yeah, it must have, yes.
but you weren't really the director of quality control.
No, I was not.
Did you approve of the way, in general, that they were running the business?
Did you say that again, sir?
Did you approve of the way, in general, that they were running the business?
No, not
Why
at all.
not?
From the very top, the owner, Lane, the way they ran it was haphazard, not in control. There weren't steady procedures that were set in place. To my knowledge, there was never any procedure set in place. The whole drive for the day was get as much out the door as you can and as fast as you can. And to make as much money as you can, basically.
Okay. And were you familiar with good manufacturing practices?
GMPs, yes.
Okay. Did they follow good manufacturing practices?
Them, no. But I tried basically with each individual, make sure, hands are clean, wearing gloves. If the mask is needed, you need a mask. Clean your areas, keep everything up, as spotless as we can. Any excess glue for the boxes, clean it up. So basically, basic stuff I kept up with good GMPs to keep your area clean and safe.
Okay. You tried to do that.
Yes,
Was it a substandard operation?
yes.
Why do you think that?
During the day, during the weeks that you work, of course, GMPs are needed, but you need certain assets. And we were provided limited to no assets to make sure we had what we needed. One example is boxes to package the bottles. The company that sold us the boxes wouldn't sell us the boxes because it was not paid. Cleaning equipment, stuff like that. So we made do with what we had.
Okay. And since leaving the Army, you worked for, what, 6 to 8 places?
Yes.
How does this place rate real water?
-1 is the
-1.
It's the worst place I've ever worked in my entire life.
Why is that?
Because of the structure that was put forth in within that company, that, you know, the first week I was there, I was looking for another job. And it took me a while to find one, of course, but it's just the way it was ran and the way the people that ran it cared about the folks that worked there was non-existent. It was mostly give me what I want, when I want it, and to produce to make money.
Did they have an area that was called the concentrate room,
I've never heard
secret room?
a secret room, yes, that we could not go into.
Okay, they had a secret room.
Yep.
And can you tell the jury just generally where that was, how big it was, you know?
I'm gonna estimate a 10 by 10 room or 10 by 15 room, behind closed doors. No one was allowed in there, only Blaine
Jones.
Jones. Yeah, so we didn't go in there.
You know what they did in that secret room?
No, I do not.
They had to let you step foot in there?
No.
Okay, the jury's seen some tubes that are titanium tubes that were allegedly used in the manufacturing process. Ever see any titanium tubes while you were there?
No.
First you've heard of this?
Yes,
And you were supposedly the quality assurance director.
correct.
Did you even know that they were putting electricity in the water?
No. No, I did not.
First you've heard of that.
I've never heard of that.
Now, were you shown complaints from customers?
We had some complaints with foreign material in, and we looked back, we tracked it down what it was a piece of glove. So, but other than that, not really, no.
Okay, I think you were there in 2017, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's take a look at, these are a list of some of the complaints. So you wouldn't have seen anything from 2009 through 2016, correct?
No,
Okay, so even though you were supposedly the director of quality assurance, you didn't have access to previous complaints before you got there.
never knew they existed.
Okay, and so January 20, 2017, we have one from Eden about high levels of hydrogen peroxide. You never knew that.
No,
Didn't know about Mr. Gelman, smog, smell, foul, tasted like chemicals on February 6, 2000. Never heard of that.
no,
Didn't know about Stephanie Poole on March 6, 2017, bitter aftertaste. Never heard of
No.
that. Didn't hear someone named Mary, August 2017, bird for throat, stomach upset. Never heard of that.
oh my God.
And September 6, 2017, didn't hear about this severe intestinal cramping, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, right?
No,
Okay, Mr. Fisher, the jury heard him by video. You didn't hear about, he was a man from Florida. You didn't hear about his infusion, hand tremors, nausea, vomiting, being treated at the urgent care, right?
no,
Okay. And now 2017, you're gone at that time, right?
oh yes,
Okay. If you, as the quality assurance director, have been informed of the complaints, what, if anything, would you have done?
shut down production.
We've shut it down.
I would have stopped it until we investigated why.
Okay? And why would you do that?
Because it, obviously we get complaints of humans being affected by it. We gotta find out why it's doing it. And correct immediately. We can't keep selling something that's hurting people.
But they didn't tell you it's doing.
No, I did not know any of this.
Okay, now, did there come a time that you had a disagreement with the owners about something? Were you trying to do some sort of production improvement or something?
Yeah, and, it would, on the line, obviously you wanna improve your machines, you wanna update them, get money to buy new parts, to get stuff rolling with them. And denied continuously, no money, nothing at all. The owners had a hard time paying us our wages, so to get something for the machines themselves, Lane took it upon himself to do everything. So whatever the place got was provided by him.
And did you try to improve the manufacturing process?
Oh, yes.
And there was some issue that you were delaying the production? Remember that? If you take a look at 6316, please, could you look at that to refresh your recollection? Page 63, line 16.
'63, what number, sir?
16.
Got you. Well, is that what we're talking about?
Let me see it. Sure.
I had 63.
That might be wrong. Not the first one. Okay. One second, sir. Oh. My fault. My fault. Okay. Take a look at 4316, sir, please.
Oh, yeah. Now I know what you're saying.
Okay, does that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury what happened?
During manufacturing of any product, you're gonna get stuff on the floor, you're gonna have messes from this box, plastic, whatever on the floor. Well, there's come a time where we have to do the 5S program. In other words, we gotta clean it up. We gotta clean it up and we gotta stop what we're doing, or someone's gonna get hurt for safety, or the product's gonna get contaminated. So you gotta make the call. No one likes the call, so I made the call to stop the line and get it cleaned up. I was overruled because of production. Leave it as is, move on. So basically what I did is I walked around and picked up stuff. I did it myself, parts of it, the best I could. But we really needed to clean and mop everything and make sure it is straight, but I couldn't do it.
Were you terminated because of that?
I was talked to. I eventually quit. I walked out. I couldn't take it anymore.
Because of that incident?
That one and the fighting that was going on.
Let's not talk about that. Now, did you drink real water yourself?
Say it again.
Did you drink real water?
Oh, yes. I had it delivered to my house.
And feed it to your dogs?
Yes.
Any problems with the dogs?
They both died.
Anyone else in the family drink real water?
Everybody did.
Who was the heaviest user in your family?
Well, basically all of us, we drank. Everybody drank the water from the 5-gallon jug.
And who would be everybody?
That would be me, my wife, my daughter, my son, and then later on, my granddaughter. So,
Was your daughter a heavy user? She drank a lot
Yes.
of water? Did she have any problems?
Objection. Turn it over first. Yeah. You're opinion objection, right?
Yeah, Your Honor, I'm going to set the stage now.
And as obviously, as far as the objection was concerned, we approached, I think, I'll overrule that, we didn't.
So, Mr. Desotel, your daughter drank real water.
yes.
Can you tell the jury what happened to your daughter?
Short time. can't say short time, but during that time, she, huh?
Go ahead.
But anyways, during that time, my daughter, come on, why does this come? She developed
Because it's your daughter.
gallbladder problems. And she had to get it taken out. It's a lot for me, because that's, you know, that's my daughter. And I'm thinking, you know, is it from this water? Is it from it? I don't know. But we were all healthy beforehand, no problems, nothing. Then all of a sudden she has gallbladder, and then she has to get it removed. You know, and it was quick. Doctor he said he had to take it out quick. So I'm like, why?
Did you also have cholesterol and intestinal problems?
Yes, of course. Right. Even till this day.
Before the gallbladder, you know, she had gastro.
Yes.
Such as?
I mean, couldn't eat certain foods, couldn't, of course, the other end, I don't know how to say it nice. The other end,
She had diarrhea.
yeah, thank you, had severe diarrhea and just, it couldn't be contained or it couldn't be remedied. And the docs said they had to take it out. So it helped her tremendously. But to this day, I mean, we just went and seen her. To this day, she still has severe problems, what she can't do.
And prior to the operation, did she have vomiting too?
Nausea, I know she did have, I guess you could call it vomiting. You know, where it comes up, and then like a bile would come up.
Okay. Now, you said you left in 2017, so the jury has heard about a man named Mr. Robbins who was sent to Sunrise Hospital in 2018.
Okay.
You didn't know anything about that?
No.
Okay. And they've also heard about another man and a woman, Chip Cavay and his wife, that were transported by ambulance. They were the neighbors of someone named Mr. Fan. You didn't know anything about that?
No.
Okay. And you're tearing up because this didn't have to happen, did it?
No. Not at all.
You've been allowed to see these complaints and shut the production.
I would have shut it down.
This wouldn't happen.
No. No, because we would take care of it. The best of my ability.
Thank you, Mr. Desotel.
Cross-examinations.
Good morning, Mr. Desotel.
How you doing, sir?
3 more minutes. My name is Matt Kaufman. I'm one of the attorneys for Real Water. I just have a couple of questions for you. First, thank you for your service. As to your dogs, you had 2 dogs, correct? There was Missy
Mm-hmm.
and Sassy.
Yes.
And if I recall correctly, how old was Missy when she died?
Now you're asking. 11, 12. I'm estimating. I don't remember.
Can I see your doc?
Oh, of course. Sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. I was working. Oh, you did. I actually just need to look it up real quick. You were the pages again. And your other dog, Sassy, how old was she when she died?
I honestly don't remember that.
Didn't one of your dogs drown?
Yes, Sassy.
Sassy did, okay. After you left Real Water in 2017, did you keep in contact with anyone from Real Water?
No.
So you would have no idea, you would have no way of knowing anything that happened after you left Real Water in 2017?
No.
Okay. Did you ever report to Real Water that your daughter had gotten sick? Or that you believed Real Water had gotten your daughter sick?
No.
Okay. And, were you subpoenaed today, sir?
Yes.
Okay. That's all the questions I have for you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Shane, can you switch over? Good night.
Oh, yeah, I should give this back to you. Please.
Mr. Rasmussen, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Desotel, do you know what an ORP meter is?
No,
As part of your job duties, were you ever asked to calibrate any instruments out of real water?
none of my job duties were to calibrate anything, no.
You were the quality control director, and namely, you were supervisor. You tried to explain that to us. You never, do you even know what an ORP meter looks like?
No,
Do you know what an ORP meter does?
no, I do not.
Did you know anything about electrolysis of the water?
No,
Did you see any of the instruments that were in this, you know, use your term, secret room?
no, I never went in there. It was always locked.
Do you know what a TDS meter is?
No, of course, yes,
Do you remember having a TDS meter out there at Real Water?
yes,
Did you use it?
yes. Spot checks, yes,
How about a pH test kit?
yes,
Did you use that?
yes, because I had to check the quality of what my guys were doing.
So was it your guys that did the, strike that,
Employees,
no, more, did you use the pH test kits or did your guys use the pH test kits?
the employees on the line, because that was part of their job, to check the TDS and the pH levels to make sure they were right at what they should be.
Did you train your guys on how to use that pH test kit?
They already knew, all I did is make sure they stayed proficient, not what they were doing.
And did you have to train them on the TDS kit?
TDS, no, they already knew.
What does TDS stand for?
Total dissolved solids.
And what, if anything happened, if you did a reading with your TDS meter, what would be the result of that?
If the result is what?
You used a TDS meter, correct? What were the results if there was something that was not completely dissolved?
Yeah, I don't remember what the parameters were, their upper or lower control limits were. But I would stop, we would find out why our TDS is too high or is too low or whatever, but we would stop. Now, it's been 5 years. You gotta understand, what was the actual, what we did, I don't remember.
But you don't know what an ORP meter is?
No, I do not.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Robbins.
Thank you for your service, Mr. Desotel. I have no questions for you.
Not for the questions, Your Honor.
All right. So, soon released.
Thank you, Judge. Have a nice court.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, thanks. All right. Thank you. That's all right.
Counsel, you want to approach for one quick? All right, thank you, counsel. And ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to get a little bit of guidance from counsel, and this is what we have next up. We have another video deposition, which is testimony from another witness. And so we can handle it one of two ways, but you know what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna ask you what you want to do. The deposition is gonna take approximately 29 minutes, is that correct, Mr. Chairman? And so, do you wanna hear the deposition and then go to lunch, or do you want to go to lunch and then hear the deposition?
Let's hear it.
Let's hear the position.
I thought that's what you would want to do, but I just wanted to make sure. And that's what we'll do. Rob.
We have 3 minutes to set up.
There's some stuff we gotta make sure.
And you might want to let the jury use the restroom if they need to.
You just need 5 minutes to set up, sir?
Set up.
Okay. Is that fine? You want to stretch? Mr. Marshall?
Yes, Your Honor.
As soon as they're ready, we're ready, and we'll get it done. Then we'll break for lunch.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're admonished not to converse amongst yourselves with anyone else on any subject matter of this trial, or rewatch or listen to any commentary on the trial, including without limitations, newspaper, television, radio, remember the social media prohibition. And last but not least, you can't form or express any opinion on the ultimate outcome until it's time for deliberation. As soon as he's set up, we'll bring him right back.
Yes, Your Honor. All rise for the departure of the jury.
And Marshall's bringing the jury in, right?
All rise for the jury. Please be seated.
All right, we're going to stipulate to the presence of the jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it's my understanding, the plaintiff is going to play for the jury another video deposition of a witness, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. We call Diego Mendegana via video testimony.
All right.
I'll go to interpreter first. You solemnly swear you will interpret the following testimony from English to Spanish and from Spanish into English to the best of your ability.
I do.
Thank you. Sir, please raise your right hand.
Señor, por favor, levante su mano derecha.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this deposition will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
¿Jura usted sinceramente que el testimonio que va a dar en esta declaración juramentada va a ser la verdad, solo la verdad y nada más que la verdad con la ayuda de Dios? Yes.
You remember when you started at Real Water?
¿Recuerda cuándo comenzó usted en Real Water?
Era 2016.
It was 2016.
And how did it come to your attention that Real Water had a job opening?
¿Y cómo se enteró usted de que Real Water tenía un puesto abierto para empleo?
Indeed, through Indeed.
Indeed, through Indeed.
Did you know anyone at Real Water before you worked there?
¿Usted conocía a alguien en Real Water antes de que comenzara usted a trabajar ahí?
No.
No.
And what was your first job position with Real Water?
¿Y cuál fue su primer puesto de trabajo que tuvo usted con Real Water?
Trabajador de línea.
I was a lead worker.
That also called lead technician?
Eso también es technical lead o lead technician en inglés.
No, dije trabajador de línea, como line worker.
Or I said line worker. Line worker.
Line worker. And what did a line worker do?
¿Y qué es lo que hace un trabajador de línea?
Varias cosas, empacar las aguas, armar las cajas para empacar las aguas, sellar las cajas, ponerlas en las paletas y rapearlas para shipping.
Well, several things. Packing, I also pack boxes, I seal them, I put them on pallets, and I ship them.
Okay. Did you help make the water?
¿Usted ayudaba a hacer el agua?
Y, no al principio.
Not in the beginning. Not in the beginning.
Did there come a time that you helped make the water?
¿Llegó algún momento en el cual usted ayudó a hacer el agua?
Sí, cuando me convertí en el lead guy del equipo.
Yes, when I became the lead guy of the team.
When was that?
¿Y cuándo fue eso?
2017, como un año después.
2017, about a year later.
And did he have a title?
¿Y usted tenía un puesto, un título de trabajo?
Yeah, como lead guy, más lead guy.
Yeah, like a lead guy. That's it, lead guy.
Okay. And how did you help make the water?
¿Y cómo ayudaba usted a hacer el agua?
Nuestro trabajo como liga era nomás poner el potasio y el concentrado de real water dentro de los tanques donde se mezclaban para empezar a llenar las botellas.
Just to mix the potassium and the concentrate of real water of where it was mixed so that they would be put into the bottles.
Did you have anything to do with making the concentrate?
¿Usted tenía algo que ver con hacer el concentrado?
No.
No.
Was that Mr. Blaine Jones who made the concentrate?
¿Ese era el señor Blaine Jones el que hacía el concentrado?
No sé si era solo él, pero sí lo veía siempre, la mayoría.
I don't know if it was only him that did it, but I did saw him doing it.
He never assisted in making the concentrate.
Pero usted nunca asistió en hacer el concentrado.
No.
No.
Did he add concentrate to distilled water as part of making the water?
Le agregaba el concentrado al agua distilada para hacer el real water.
Sí.
Yes.
And was that called anything?
¿Y le llamaban algo a eso?
Como liga y también se podía llamarle, ¿cómo se llama?
I believe that you can also call it, what do you call it?
El que tiene que chequear tienes que chequear las aguas que estén al número que debe ser.
You have to check the waters to make sure that they're at the numbers that they should be.
Okay. Was there generally a certain amount of concentrate he added to the water?
Había una cantidad específica de concentrado que le agregaba él al agua.
¿Le agregaba yo al agua?
That I added to the water?
Right.
Sí.
Sí, no sé, era un galón y era cada un galón por cada tanque de agua.
Yes, it was 1 gallon per every tank of water.
La mitad de un galón.
Half of a gallon.
1/2 of a gallon of concentrate?
La mitad de galón en cuanto a concentrado. Yes.
And how many gallons in each tank?
¿Y cuántos galones en cada tanque?
Era medio galón en un tanque de... no me acuerdo qué tan grande era el tanque, no me acuerdo cuántos galones tenía el tanque, pero era un tanque.
It was half a gallon in one tank. I don't remember how big the tank was.
Okay. Some persons have testified they put 5 gallons per every 100 gallons of water. Does that sound familiar?
Ahora, ¿les suena conocido de que muchas personas dicen que eran 5 galones a cada 100 galones de agua? ¿Eso les suena conocido a usted?
Sí, algo así.
Yes, something like that.
On occasion, did they have to add more concentrate than 5 gallons per 100 gallons?
Ocasionalmente tenían que agregar más de concentrado a los 5 galones por cada 100 galones de agua.
No.
No.
Okay. On exhibit 16, there's a picture.
Ahora, en el artículo de prueba número 16 hay una foto.
Ok, ya. Sí, es
Okay, yes.
con lo que testeamos el agua.
Yes, that's what we test the water with.
What did he call that?
¿Y cómo le nombra usted a este aparato?
El testeador, puede ser.
The tester? It could be, the tester.
And did he test the water? Did somebody else test the water?
¿Y usted es el que revisaba el agua o alguien más en su equipo es el que lo hacía?
La mayoría de veces era yo, mi compañero, que era otro supervisor, y a una mujer de la oficina también las tenía que limpiar cada
It
hora.
was me, my worker, and another person that worked at the office would be the ones that would check it.
Okay. And what were they testing for?
¿Y qué es lo que estaban ustedes probando o revisando?
Pues la verdad nos daban solo un número y nos decían que tenía que estar entre ese nivel del número que nos daban.
Well, to be honest with you, they would just give us a number and they would tell us that it would have to fall within those numbers they gave us.
Okay, and were the numbers negative 200 to negative 350?
Y los números eran negativo 200 a negativo 350.
Creo que sí, no me acuerdo mucho de verdad.
I think so. I don't remember much about the numbers.
And if the numbers were not where they were supposed to be, did he add more concentrate?
Y si los números no estaban donde deberían estar, usted le agregaba más concentrado.
No mucho, lo que cambiaba mucho era el potasio.
Not much. What changed the most was the potassium.
Okay. But sometimes they added concentrate.
Pero en ocasiones agregaban concentrado.
Creo que sí, unas cuantas veces.
I think so, a few times.
And they added the concentrate to make it a greater negative number.
Y agregaban el concentrado para hacerlo un número mayor negativo.
Ya, depende cómo estuviera. Si estaba muy bajo, pues para subirlo, si estaba tenemos que...
Yeah. It depended if it was too low so that we could raise it. So yes, we would have to look.
And what is the most concentrate he remembers adding? 5 gallons, 7.5?
¿Y cuál es el concentrado mayor que usted recuerda haber agregado? 5 galones, 7.5.
No más de 5.
No more than 5.
Okay. So he put in the initial 5 gallons, and then sometimes he would add another 5 gallons of concentrate.
I'm not sure because it was a gallon, and then it was 5 gallons, and then we had to add the half of it.
Y luego si lo que estaba muy bajo se le agregaba un poquito más, no otro galón, sino un poco de la otra mitad que quedaba.
And then if it was too low, we would have to add more, not another gallon, but the other half that was remaining.
Did you add 2.5 gallons at times after the first 5 gallons?
Usted agregaba 2 galones y medio en ocasiones después de haber agregado los 5 galones.
¿Crees que pueda hablarle un poco en inglés? En lo que no entienda te puedo avisar para que me traduzcas.
Do you think that I could speak in English and I can just use the interpreter whenever I can?
Sure, you
Express
understand
myself?
well.
Sí, si usted puede entender suficientemente, sí lo puede hacer.
Okay, so we will have like a big gallon. We have 2 gallons, big ones, where the water will get mixed. And for each gallon, it was half of a gallon of a 5 gallon. It was like a 5 gallon. And for one of those big tanks, for each one was half a gallon. So we would pour half a gallon, and then we would let it mix. We would let the water get mixed, and then we would test it. And if you needed some more, then we used a little bit of the other half of the 5 gallons. Not another gallon, just a little bit of the other half.
So you would take half of a 5 gallon and put it in, could you say it one more time?
Yeah, we would take half of the 5 gallons and put it in the big tanks where the water would get mixed.
Okay, and how much was it, the big tanks?
Well, I think it was what you just told me, like it was 100. I remember.
100 gallons?
Yeah, I think it was 100.
Okay.
Like, I'm not sure, I get confused with the gallons, but it was, yeah, I think it was, we had the number, the last number on top was 100. And we would say like 5 gallons of the concentrate.
So there was a set amount of concentrate you used at the very beginning, 2.5 to 5 gallons, is that correct?
Yes.
And then if you took the measurement and it wasn't negative enough, you would add more concentrate, correct?
Yes.
And can you recall how much concentrate you added on those occasions?
Those occasions, not that much more. It was just barely, like half of the half that was left in the gallon.
Okay. And so if the gallon was a 5 gallon and you added 2.5, half of a half would be a gallon and a quarter? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
basically, you think you would put 2.5 gallons of concentrate in, and if the reading was low, you would add another gallon and a quart of concentrate. Is that right? Is that right?
Yes.
And this was this done on each and every batch that you made?
Yes.
Okay. And you were just making retail bottles as opposed to 5-gallon jugs, is that correct?
¿Me podrías traducir eso, por favor?
Y solamente estaban haciéndolo en botellas para vender no al mayoreo, sino al minoreo.
Sí, estamos haciendo las botellas.
Yes, we're making the bottles.
The retail bottles?
Los que se venden al minoreo.
Sí.
Yes.
And you're not making the 5-gallon jugs?
Y usted no estaba haciendo los contenedores de 5 galones.
Not, that was another department. We were only making like 500 liters and the liter and a half bottles.
And were those the ones that went to Whole Foods and Costco and those kind of places?
Yes.
Did you prepare them to go to Whole Foods and Costco?
Yeah, what do you mean preparing them? Like, we will fill them up, put the labels on, pack them in the boxes, seal them up, put it in the pallet, and then ship them.
Okay. Was there a warehouse for the product that was to go to Costco and Whole Foods? Or room?
Yeah, we had like the room where we put the pallets on.
Right. What was that room called?
Like the storage room, like.
Okay.
We had,
Okay, and was that the room where the stuff that was supposed to go to Costco and Whole Foods was put?
yeah, it was the storage room. We had like racks on them, and then we stacked the pallets on them, and the shipping guy would put them in the truck, whatever truck was there.
Okay. Back to the meter that you were using, okay, the ore meter. When you started using a new ore meter, did you have anything to do with how to calibrate it?
No, they would do it in the office. Usually it was Blaine or another girl in the office that they would calibrate for us.
Okay, so someone else calibrated it, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you never calibrated yourself, is that correct?
Yes.
And you don't know whether it takes 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 months to calibrate, do you?
I knew, but I forgot because all of this information, like from the line, it was like a lot of years ago, and I only worked there for like 2 years and something, and then the rest of the years, I was like almost like when I was a supervisor, I was like dealing with the mechanic stuff, fixing the machines to, if they would break down and stuff. So I don't really remember all the numbers and stuff like that about the water.
Okay, but you didn't have anything to do with the calibration, is that correct?
Yeah.
So did you ever even see the box or the instructions for the ore meter?
I believe I did. I didn't pay attention because I wasn't doing it.
Did you read them?
No.
All right. Now, did Real Water also have written procedures?
Yes.
Okay, like, for example, I have as Exhibit 1 a written procedure to define quality control points. You see that document?
Yes.
Okay, can you read that?
You want me to read that?
Yeah, some of the witnesses suggested that there was a request made to translate some of these things into Spanish. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, well, I talked to the lady. She told me that there was going to be a translator just in case if I needed some help.
Okay. So you talked to someone at Real Water and they said they would provide you a translator?
Oh, no, in rainwater, no, yeah, we'll be, I was able to read it.
Oh, okay, so you can read this document?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, great. Have you ever seen this document prior to today?
Yes, I believe so.
And you know what a critical control point is?
I don't remember.
And you know what a HACCP team is? HACCP team?
Honestly, I don't remember. They would teach us all of that. Like we used to have like classes and have like videos about it, and I just don't remember about it.
Okay. How often did you use these written procedures, if at all?
Like use them.
Did you use them on a day-to-day basis to do your job?
Not really. I mean, we knew what to do already. You know? We didn't have to.
Okay. And how did you know what to do?
They used to tell us, they used to teach us like what to do, how to do it, and that's how we knew.
Okay. On the document that I have as Exhibit 1, it talks about a Director of Quality Control. Do you see that title there?
Yes.
Who was the Director of Quality Control when you were there?
Director of Quality Control. It would be. It used to be a. Well, it used to be a girl in the office. They would change. You know, people they would get a fire or something. They would change. You know.
Do you remember anybody who was the Director of Quality Control?
I'm not sure, but I didn't remember one there.
What's their name?
Shane.
Shady Castile?
I believe so.
Okay. Anybody else other than that?
I remember another guy, but I don't remember the name.
Tom Pham, perhaps? P-H-A-M?
I don't remember.
Patty Converse?
I remember her.
You do remember her?
Yeah.
And what was her job position, if you remember?
Well, I'm not sure about it because like they were in the office and they would give them different jobs, not only one. You know, they would do different stuff, like quality control, like taking care of the tests and stuff, and doing some other jobs in the office.
Okay. Now, back to the meter, okay? After you use the meter to do the test on the water, the meter that we have depicted there?
Yes.
What did you do with the meter?
We used to put it back in a container with I'm not sure what it was, but it was some liquid or that stuff to get sanitation, you know. We used to put it back in with some liquid.
If we take a look at Exhibit 15, which is Mr. Bush's deposition, page 183. Do you remember a man named Mike Bush?
Mike Bush? Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And Mr. Bush says that the meters, the probes of the meters were put in distilled water overnight. You see that testimony?
Yeah.
Is that consistent with what you remember, that you put it in distilled water?
Yes, I remember that.
Okay, as we sit here today, you can't remember anything other than distilled water that the probes were put in. Is that correct?
You didn't get it. What do you mean?
So what do you mean? You said you didn't get it. What do you mean?
Okay. You remember, as we sit here today, you remember that it was put in distilled water, correct?
Yes.
Okay. sometimes the meter gave you inconsistent or strange readings?
Yes, sometimes, like different numbers.
Right.
Yeah, that sometimes, so I would let the guys in the office know, and they will give me
Another meter?
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes the meter gave you strange numbers, you went and got another meter.
Yeah, because the other one might be broke or needed to be calibrated or something.
And how often did this happen, like on a weekly basis or monthly basis or what?
Only in a few months. Not that long.
Once every few months?
Yeah.
And so how many years did you use the meter?
Like 3, 4.
Okay, so assuming it's 3 years, that's 36 months. If it happened once every few months, it would happen 18 to 20 times while you were there at least?
Yeah, only. It happened that much to me.
Would 18 to 20 times be a fair estimate as to how many times the meter gave you inconsistent results in a 3-year period?
To me, it is because I wasn't the only one who would test the water, so I don't know.
So in the 3 years, you had at least 18 to 20 instances where you had inconsistent or funny results from the meter, correct?
Yes.
All right, now, Mr. Bush told us that there were a number of people who had just gotten out of prison that worked for Real Water. Are you familiar in any way, shape, or form with whether there were people from prison that had just come from prison working at Real Water?
Yes.
Okay, and what was your understanding as to that?
I guess they were from this place called Casa Grandes and stuff like that. They were in prison. They would just get out of prison to come to work and then go back.
So they were on some kind of work release while they were still in prison?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And approximately how many employees were in that situation?
I'm not sure, but
Joanne?
like
Larissa? Joanne?
more than 10 probably.
More than 10 at the same time?
The same time would be like probably like 3 or 4 of them.
And how did these people get back and forth to the prison, before their shift and after their shift?
They would take the bus.
Was it a prison bus or a regular bus?
I'm not sure. This was a guy that I was talking with. One of them was talking. He would tell me he would take the bus. What kind of bus?
Is it my understanding that you began working at Real Water in 2016?
Yes.
And how long did you work at Real Water?
I'm not wrong, like 6 years.
6 years? So approximately till about 2022, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And your role is that you had just described previously about doing a little bit of everything, is that correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, which shift did you work when you were working at Real Water?
Morning shift.
Was that from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m.?
Yeah, it would change. Sometimes it would be from 4 a.m. to 3 or 6 a.m.
How many days a week did you work?
5 or 6 sometimes.
Now, did you get training when you began working at Real Water?
Yes.
And did you feel that your job training was adequate for you to do your job?
Yes.
Do you know where the concentrate was made?
Yes.
And where was that?
It was like a clean room right there in the same warehouse.
Would that be in the Desert Inn facility? And who made the concentrate to the best of your recollection?
be Lane.
It'd be Blaine Jones.
Yes.
Anyone else that you're familiar with or know that made the contract?
No.
Were you ever in that clean room? You obtained a food handler safety card, is that correct, sir?
Yes.
When did you first receive the card? Let me state it this way. After you started working at Real Water, how long after you've been working did you receive the food handler safety card?
Probably like 10 months after.
And you received that from the Southern Nevada Health District? When you were employed at Real Water, did you take your job serious?
Yes.
Did you work hard? Did you value your job? When you had voiced your concerns to someone, if you had any, at the time you were working at Real Water?
Yep.
On occasion, did they have to add more concentrate than 5 gallons per litre gallon?
Ocasionalmente tenían que agregar más de concentrado a los 5 galones por cada 100 galones de agua.
No.
No.
Were they supposed to measure how much, did they take any measurements to make sure the concentrate they added was appropriate?
Tomaban medidas para asegurarse de que el concentrado que estaban agregando.
It's okay. Is that it? Is that a shame? Do we have that?
I think there was one more segment.
Is that Mr. Robbins' end?
I think so, Mr. Kemp.
Shane, if you're looking for mine, mine was already played, it was in there.
You all know?
I don't have anything else.
Have we covered all portions?
I think I have a little bit more left, Your Honor.
There was one more segment, should I finish it?
Okay.
On occasion, did they have to add more concentrate than 5 gallons per litre gallon? For the entire time you were there, you didn't hear any cases of people vomiting?
I heard that it was bad to drink the water from the line because you might start throwing up. Besides that, no.
And who told you that if you drank the water from the line, you would throw up?
The supervisor, because it's fresh water, you have to let it rest for 1 day or 2.
And did you ever drink the water from the line yourself?
No.
That's all.
Is that it? Okay, thank you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for lunch. I appreciate your patience, I really do. And remember, you're admonished not to converse amongst yourselves with anyone else on any subject connected with this trial. If you read, watch, or listen to any report or commentary on the trial, any persons connected with this case, or by any medium of information, including without limitations, newspaper, television, radio, social media, or to form or express any opinion on any subject connected with this trial to the causes finally submitted to you during deliberations. Okay, and sir.
2 o'clock. All rise to the porch of the jury. Please be seated and thank you.
All right, so we have recess, right? Nothing else to address right now?
No, Your Honor.
Parker. Shoulder to Matt Kaufman for Real Water.
Hi, good morning, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Scott Rasmussen and Ryan Flanagan, the Hanna Instruments.
Good afternoon, Rob Robbins from Milwaukee.
Your Honor, I apologize. Brianna Switzler, also for plaintiffs. this afternoon.
All right, also one other thing, I've been trying to juggle my calendar a little bit because I want to pick up that extra hour. And the 27th, next week is the 27th, right? How's 9:30? Wednesday. I'm fine with everything?
Yes.
No problem, man.
I want to pick that hour back up we lost. And so I actually shortened my lawn motion calendar that day. So we can pick it up. Yes.
Ready to go?
We're ready.
All rise for the jury. Please be seated. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed your lunch. And do the parties stipulate their presence in the meeting?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Kemp, are we ready to call our next witness?
We are, Your Honor. I will call Mrs. Arnone. And Your Honor, we do have two exhibits for Ms. Arnone, which are pages from her medical records. So these will be the new exhibit 725 and new exhibit 726. I believe we met and conferred with defense counsel, and there's no objection to their admissibility.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Okay. All right.
I can approach.
Yes, you can approach the plate.
Yes, ma'am, we're going to walk the steps there. Please walk through step as we do so. You stand, please, Madam Clerk, and raise your right hand, please.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you are about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. May you state and spell your name for the record?
I'm sorry.
May you state and spell your name for the record?
Yvonne Arnone, Yvonne Arnone.
Thank you.
Please have a seat, and the chair's on hold, so please be cautious.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am, you may proceed.
Good afternoon, Ms. Arnone. Very good. Good. And this is your first time testifying in court today, correct? Correct. All right. And will you go ahead and introduce yourself to the jury? Where are you from? Originally, I was born in Hawaii, Honolulu, Hawaii. Moved to Los Angeles, California, I would say before I was 20. Lived there much longer than I did in Hawaii, so I feel like Los Angeles is more my home. And never moved back to Hawaii.
And what brought you to Las Vegas?
A change in life. My daughter had grown up, left the house. I sold the house and decided to embark on a new career and new area. So I picked Las Vegas.
And it's my understanding you live with someone here in Las Vegas?
Yes, I live with my sister, Patricia Kimo.
And it's my understanding that the reason why you haven't been able to be here is because you're the full-time caretaker of your sister who's dementia?
That's correct.
All right, and do you have children, Ms. Arnone?
Yes, I do.
And what is
I have a daughter, Randy, she's married. The last name is Marshall. My son-in-law, Ken Marshall, and I have two grandsons, Zachary and Noah.
And how old are Zachary and Noah?
Zachary is 18, Noah is 15.
And it seems like you have your hands full. What are some of the things you enjoy when you're not as busy?
Spending time with them. We make arrangements to make a point to spend time together.
So getting to the case, what initially got you interested in real water?
The real water delivery person came to my door for asking if I want to return any water that I
Not
had.
interrupting, Ms. Arnone.
Mhm.
How did you first hear of real water?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I wanted water delivered to the house, so I just looked for water companies that delivered water to the home.
Okay, and you ended up picking real water?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And so you signed up for their home delivery program? Okay. So how about you tell me a little bit about when you went to the hospital? What was that day like?
I don't remember what the day was like. It's all pretty.
So what happened that made you concerned about your health that day?
I got up this Orion and tried to make my way to the dining area where our water dispenser was, so I could drink more water. I was trying to get there. I struggled to get there. At that time, I lived with two sisters, and one was very disabled, so she's in a wheelchair. My other sister is pushing her, and they come into the dining area and say what's wrong. I imagine they asked. I do know they asked me if they should call 911, and I responded yes.
And so you were taken to an ambulance to a hospital? Do you remember what hospital you were taken to?
Southern Hills.
Okay. And pulling up exhibit, the new exhibit 725, page 31. All right, Ms. Arnone, and on this record here, we're pulling it up a little bit for you. Do you see on this sheet that your labs revealed that your AST levels and your ALT levels, so your AST levels were 7,666 and your ALT levels were 1,488?
Yes.
Okay. And looking down further on the page, one of the discharge instructions there says need liver transplant. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And if we pull up the same exhibit number, page 80. Towards the bottom, we have one of your discharge. It says critically ill with acute liver failure, need supportive care and urgent transfer to a transplant center. Do you remember that after Seven Hills you were transferred to a different hospital?
Yes.
Okay, do you remember, what hospital was that?
UCLA.
All right. And how are you transported to UCLA Medical Center?
Airman.
AirMed? And AirMed is an airplane?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so after a flight for life that you had to UCLA, what were some of the symptoms you were still experiencing at that time?
Confusion.
Okay.
I don't remember a lot. I don't feel like I was very conscious of what was going on.
And I know at some point you said you felt in limbo. Can you describe kind of how you felt, what that meant?
I remember hearing a motor. So later on, I concluded that I must have been in an airplane of some sort. It's hard to, I'm not sure when I became aware of why I was there or anything. Maybe speaking to my daughter when she came to visit me, and talking about it later, probably.
Of course. And looking on exhibit 726, page 136, we have your initial admission records to UCLA. All right. And so if we look here, it says you were transferred to their hospital with a fulminant liver failure, and on admission, your LFTs, your liver enzymes, your ASTs, and your ALTs, if you look there, your ASTs were 7,165, and your ALTs were 1,775. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. And while you're at, I think you mentioned a little bit, but while you're at UCLA Medical Center, was your family able to visit? I know that it was during the time of COVID, so.
Yes, they were able to visit one at a time. My daughter, and after she left, it would be my son-in-law.
And do you remember what date you were transferred to UCLA?
November 2, 2020.
And how long were you at the UCLA Medical Center?
About a week.
Okay. And eventually you were released from UCLA?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, and at that time, how were you feeling when you were released from the hospital?
Not 100%, not fully recovered, but they said I was no longer a candidate for liver transplant, so I would be discharged.
So at some point they told you that you needed a liver transplant because how high your ASTs and ALTs were?
I remember my daughter telling me that.
Okay. And after you were released from the hospital, where did you stay after that?
In Valencia, California, where my daughter and son-in-law and grandsons live.
Okay, and where did you stay with them?
I needed to do an outpatient for UCLA doctors until they discharged me. So it's a month of blood work and visiting, outpatient visits.
So while you were released from the hospital, you kept seeing the UCLA doctors there for about how long did you say?
I think maybe a couple of weeks with follow-up blood work for the following 2 weeks, which were done locally in Valencia, and blood results, sent over to UCLA.
Okay. And
She's blushing.
so at what point did you go back home to your home in Las Vegas?
January
Blushing.
2021.
January 2021, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And why did you stop drinking real water?
The delivery person came to my door. I said I wasn't ready for this delivery because I wasn't expecting him that day. And he said, no, I'm here to pick up any water and to reimburse you if you want for any water you might have. So that's when I became aware. Up till that time, when I got home, I continued to drink raw water until that visit. So March.
March of 2021, would that be?
Yes.
Okay. And I know you didn't remember much, and I'm sorry. I think, sorry, Shane. Can we go back to exhibit 726, page 31? And towards the bottom here,
Is it 131?
31, sorry. Thank you. Towards the bottom, it says on admission that you had some brain swelling. Do you see that? Second sentence, Shane, kind of middle there. Second from the bottom, sorry. It says CT brain outside with mild swelling. So it looks like at one of your medical records, it looks like you had some brain swelling.
Yes.
And overall, how has this experience, your hospitalization, how has that affected you?
I'm not sure how all of these things that happened to me, how has it affected me?
Yeah, how's it affected you personally?
Realizing life can change at any time. And I just never expected to get, this ill. But it did cause us to have deeper conversation with my daughter and my son-in-law, and realization of life that they had to inform my grandson. So that was we had talks about that after. But it was very just traumatizing for all of us, but it did bring us closer together.
And thank you, Ms. Arnone. I think I don't have any more questions at this time.
Okay.
And thank you, ma'am. Cross-examination, Mr. Odou.
Thank you, Hanna. Ms. Arnone, good afternoon. My name is Joel Odou. I'm one of the attorneys for Real Water.
Good afternoon.
I'm very sorry that Real Water made you sick. I want to start there. Real Water is admitting that it made you sick. Okay.
Thank you.
I just want to ask you very few questions. You were in the hospital about a month, roughly, is that right? 4 weeks?
No, not in the hospital. The hospital stay was November 2 to November 6th. So maybe 6 days.
6 days in the hospital,
5 to 6 days.
and then you stayed in the area so you could continue to get treatment at UCLA?
That's correct.
And you stayed with family there?
That's correct.
And your total medical bills for the time that you were flown to UCLA and the time that you were there were about $339,000, basically $340,000. Does that sound correct to you?
Yeah.
I'm very sorry about that. I want to ask you some questions about what happened after you got out of the hospital and after you came home to Las Vegas, okay?
Sure.
Okay. In about March of 2021, a Real Water person, delivery person, came to your door and you weren't expecting them, is that right?
That's correct.
And they told you they were there to pick up some bottles and give you a refund, right?
If I wanted to return any bottle and I could ask for a refund, and we did that.
Thank you. And they told you that people had gotten sick from drinking Real Water, do you remember that?
Yes.
And so they took away, did they take away all the bottles?
I don't remember giving him any bottles. I'm not sure what I did at that visit. I was just taken aback by the conversation.
It was shocking to you that Real Water had made people sick, is that fair? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Today, you're not currently having any treatment that you believe was caused by Real Water, is that also true?
Yes, that's true.
Ms. Arnone, again, thank you very much for your time, I really appreciate it.
Brian, planning for Hanna Instruments, we have no questions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Arnone, no questions.
We'll be ready.
Just really quick. Thank you, Ms. Arnone. Just to refresh your recollection, Shane, can you go ahead and pull up 725-0031? All right, perfect. Do you see at the ticket pop up there where it says date 0/11/2/2020?
Yeah.
Is that when you were admitted to the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And just really quick, 7/26 0137. And this is the medical records from UCLA. And you see at the top up there, it says 11/8 of 2020.
Yes.
All right, and that was the date you were discharged, correct?
Yes.
All right, perfect. But you still continue to see outpatient with doctors for a little bit of time after that?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, thank you, Ms. Arnone.
Nothing further, thank you. All right.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Ma'am, you're released. You can help her step down, sir.
Please watch your step.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to call Jason Brown by video.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this deposition will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, can you describe your educational background?
High school graduate. I went to a local community college for a semester for radiography. That didn't work out, so I just started working different jobs.
Where'd you graduate high school?
Rocky Mount Senior High School,
And where's that located?
Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
It's called Rocky Mount Senior High School.
Yes, sir.
And then where'd you go to community college?
Pitt Community College.
PITT?
Yes, sir.
Where's that located at?
Greenville, North Carolina.
What year was that?
2006.
Okay. And after that, where'd you go to work?
I came on here at Milwaukee Instruments on May 6, 2008.
How did it come to your attention that there was a job available at Milwaukee Instruments?
I saw an ad in the paper.
Okay. And prior to seeing that ad, did you know anyone that worked at Milwaukee?
No, sir.
What position were they advertising for?
It was for inventory specialist, and since I had a retail background, it kind of caught my eye. And that's how I was able to get interviewed.
Okay, and then at some point you got interviewed by someone in Milwaukee?
Yes, sir.
Would that have been Mr. Moore?
Yes, sir.
And Byron Moore, correct?
Brian. Yes, sir.
Brian Moore, okay. All right. And what was his position at the time of the interview?
General manager.
Okay. So did you take the job as inventory specialist?
Yes, sir, I did.
And did there come a time you were promoted?
Yes, sir. I started out as an inventory specialist, and once I did that, I became a QC person, which basically takes in the inventory once it's delivered here. And depending on what the product is, you have different ways of QCing it and labeling them and putting them on the shelf.
And QC means quality control?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Okay, so what was your title?
I initially didn't have a title, inventory specialist, I guess, but I eventually became quality control manager.
Okay, approximately when did you become the quality control manager?
I don't recall exactly the date. I would say within the first year of working here.
Somewhere 2009, 2010?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what type of inventory did Milwaukee have at that point in time, referring to 2008, 2009?
Analytical testing equipment.
And do you know how many different types of analytical testing equipment they sold?
We have over 300 various SKUs. Now, they're not all meters. That includes solutions and reagents and other things too. But as far as meters go, Probably 120, 130.
Okay, so you think there were approximately over 300 items sold in 2009, 2010, and out of those, 120 to 130 were meters.
Correct.
Okay. And out of the 120 to 130 meters, did you sell orb meters?
Yes, sir.
More than one type of orb meter?
Yes, sir.
How many types of orb meters?
3.
Okay, and did they have numbers?
Model numbers, yes, sir.
What were they?
So before it became an MW500, it was the SM500. Another would be ORP 57. Then we had a bench meter, MI 151. And excuse me, there was actually 4. MI 105, that is also has the ORP feature.
Would I be correct that at some point in time, the SM500 was rebranded or upgraded and called the MW500?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And that would have been around approximately 2011?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And that's when the MW series was introduced, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's continue your employment a little bit. So we have 2009, and you are a quality control person or manager. What happened after that point in time?
I learned a little bit of everything here. So I initially started out as inventory specialist, moved on to learn the QC aspects here. I learned how to receive shipments when they came in. I learned how to, of course, box up orders, do invoicing, create labels to put on the box to ship out. So I learned how the in and out aspects of shipping. I did a lot of customer service over the phone. And I learned to do certain repairs on some returns when they come in. So I've kind of learned everything.
Okay, and did there come a time that they changed your title from quality control manager to something else?
That came when Brian was sick in mid-June to July in 2018. He promoted me to assistant general manager.
Okay, so that, again, that's Mr. Moore became sick sometime in the middle of 2018?
Yes, sir.
And he ultimately died in 2018?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
So prior to him dying, he promoted you to assistant general manager?
Yes, sir.
Approximately, what was that?
Like I said, it was either June or July, but it was in the summertime.
And then at some point, you became the general manager after he died?
That is correct.
And so since 2018, you've been the general manager of Milwaukee Instruments, correct?
General manager from December 2019 December 2018 through January 2019. And my current title is operations manager.
So you became the operations manager of Milwaukee Instruments in January 2019?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Now, focusing on the 2018 time period, how many employees did Milwaukee Instruments have in North Carolina first? You say 5?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did they have employees in other states other than North Carolina?
No, sir. We're the only Milwaukee Instruments in North America.
Okay, and there are Milwaukee Instruments in other parts of the world?
In Europe.
Okay. And do you know how many there are in Europe?
I do not, but it is located in Hungary.
You know someone named Carl Salvaggio?
Yes, I do.
And what is his relationship to Milwaukee Instruments, if any?
He's the president.
And how long has he been the president, if you know?
Since as long as I've been here, as far as I know.
Okay. At present, is that the person you report to?
Yes, sir, he is my boss.
I think you said you don't know who manufactured them, right?
I do not know who manufactured them, no. I know that they are manufactured in Romania.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay, let's try it this way. When one of the items Milwaukee Instruments sells is orb meters, correct?
That's fine.
You good now, Mr. Rasmussen?
Yes, I am now.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Who do you order the orb meters from?
Hanna.
Okay, and that would be Hanna in Rhode Island?
Correct.
And with regards to orb meters, are there different types of users?
Yes, sir, for different applications, yes.
Okay, so I guess one would be industry, right?
Correct, yes, sir.
And one would be personal use, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
What other uses would there be?
You have people that use it for aquatic applications for their aquariums. You have people that use them for Kangen water.
Kangen water is spelled K-A-N-G-E-N, right, sir?
Yes, sir. And you have it in the food and beverage market that may use them as well.
Okay. All right. And of these types of markets, does Milwaukee sell to more meters to a certain type of market than another type of market?
I would say the aquatics market has a slight advantage over the other markets.
So you sell more meters to the aquatic market than the other market?
Yes, sir.
All right. And would I also be correct that in the aquatic market, orb meters are typically used to measure positive orb?
That is correct.
As opposed to negative orb, correct?
Correct.
And in the Kangen water market, they're typically used to measure negative orb, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. In the food and beverage market, it goes both ways, negative and positive?
Yes, sir.
But at least with regards to and Kangen water is alkaline water, right?
Yes, sir.
You personally drink Kangen water?
No, sir.
Have you used a orb meter to prepare Kangen water or test Kangen water before?
No, sir.
Okay, but you do understand that the Kangen water market, they buy the orb meter for the purposes of measuring the negative orb, right?
Yes, sir.
And if they measure negative orb and it doesn't reach what they want, they make some sort of adjustment to the Kangen water, right? If the orb meter doesn't measure the level of negative orb they want, they make some sort of adjustment to the Kangen water to get it to the negative level they want. Well, isn't it a fact that you have, quote, tons, unquote, of Kangen water customers?
I have, I would say tons. I mean, I do have some Kangen water customers.
You wouldn't use the term tons?
I don't recall that I did.
Okay. So how many Kangen water customers do you think you have? Say in the last 5 years.
All right, off the top of my head, let's see. Between 6 to 8.
And are these individuals or are these companies that make Kangen water?
Distributors.
Okay. Distributors of Kangen water.
Yes.
What type of Kangen water?
I don't know.
And when you say they're distributors, do you
They
mean?
they buy in bulk.
Okay, so they buy Kangen in bulk.
No, they buy the ORP meters in bulk. I don't sell Kangen water.
Okay. So these distributors buy ward meters in bulk from you to use to make Kangen water.
Correct.
And why are you calling them a distributor as opposed to a manufacturer?
Because they're not a manufacturer of the unit. They're buying the units from us.
To make Kangen water?
Yes,
So these people you call distributors are makers of Kangen water, correct?
yes. They're in that market.
Okay, so there's about 6 to 8 of them, correct?
Off the top of my head, yes.
Mhm.
There may be a few more. Yes.
And they buy ward meters in bulk, you said, correct?
Yes, sir.
And by bulk, you mean more than one at a time?
That's correct.
And how many do they usually buy at a time?
It can be anywhere from 10 on up to, I've had some to order 80 to 100 at a time.
And so it's your understanding they take these, we'll strike that. Are these the MW500s?
Yes, sir.
So you sell MW500s to 6 to 8 Kangen water entities that make Kangen water, correct?
Yes, sir.
In a typical year, how many MW500s do you sell to these 6 or 8 companies that are involved with Kangen water?
Between 16 and 1,800.
1,600 to 1,800?
Yes, sir.
And would that be true back through, say, 2012?
I would say it has increased since 2012. And with that number, that's a number in general. That's not all specifically Kangen water customers. That would include customers from all various markets. So the total number in general of MW500 sold annually would be between 1,600 to 1,800.
Okay, and how many of those would go to the Kangen water market?
I would say between 400 to 600.
So approximately a fourth to a third of the MW500s are sold for the Kangen water market. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So approximately a fourth to a third of these meters would be used to measure negative ore, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, with regards to an ore meter, when's the first time you heard of an ore meter?
When I became an employee here at Milwaukee Instruments.
Okay. Now, when the MW series came out, I think we said about 2011, 2012, were you involved in any way, shape, or form with the design of that product?
No, sir.
Okay. You just sell what they made?
That is correct.
Do you know who was involved with the design of the MW500?
No, sir.
And is there any procedure where if you think there should be some change made to the design, you have the ability to suggest that change?
I do not, no, sir.
Have you ever thought about changes to the design of the MW500?
No, sir.
Now, the MW500 comes with a user manual, correct?
Yes, sir, it does.
Is that the same user manual that it's come with since its existence?
Yes, sir.
Who drafted the user manual?
I do not know.
Okay. And same question with regards to user manual. Do you have any input into what's in the user manual?
No, sir, I do not.
So if, for example, there's an instruction you give the customers over and over again and you think, hey, it might be a good idea to put this in the user manual, there's no procedure for you to suggest that be added to the user manual. Is that
Yes.
correct?
No.
Now, the user manual is in front of you marked as Exhibit 4. Would you take a look at that, please? Okay. And flip through it and tell me if that is indeed the user manual for the MW500 watt meter.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. And is that the complete manual? Flip through the last page.
That is the complete manual, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in this manual, the only thing I see about calibration is on page 2, bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And that says, quote, "The meter is factory calibrated. Warp electrodes are interchangeable and no MB calibration is needed when they are replaced," unquote. Did I read that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there anything else in this meter about calibration? I mean, in this user manual about calibration?
No, sir.
Okay. And what does it mean when it says, quote, "The meter is factory calibrated," unquote?
That means that it is calibrated at the production facility.
And do you know if that's in Hungary?
I'm sorry, say that again?
You know if the, excuse me, I said Hungary. Do you know if the production facility is in Romania?
According to the instructions, it is made in Romania, yes.
So that's where you think it's calibrated?
Yes.
And do you have any idea of how they calibrated in Romania?
No, sir, I do not.
So all you know is that someone at the Romanian factory calibrates the MW500. Is that?
That is correct.
Good. And when it says factory calibrated, does that mean it's factory calibrated for positive warp readings?
This unit will read negative and positive out of the box.
Okay. So it's factory calibrated for negative and positive out of the box. Is that
correct?
Okay. And where did you acquire that information from?
I just know that's how it works.
In other words, a Kangen water customer can take it out of the box and start measuring negative warp of Kangen water, correct?
They can, but to get a negative reading, it's a slow process without oxidizing the probe. So in other words, it will read negative RP, but it's going to take a long time to get that negative reading they're looking for without oxidizing the probe.
And by a long time, you're talking about 4 or 5 days. Well, when you say it's going to take a long time before...
I don't have a specific time out of the box of how long it would take to read negative ORP to the degree of measuring Kangen water. But it will read negative ORP out of the box. It just takes a lot longer to get that read.
And how much longer?
I don't know.
Hours, days, months? What are we talking?
Hours to days is what I would say.
But with regards to positive warp, the meter will work fine out of the box, right?
Yes, it will read, yes.
In other words, it'll start reading positive warp right away, seconds, minutes, right?
Correct.
And negative warp it won't.
It'll read it, but it'll take longer.
Okay. So in other words, if you take the warp meter and you put it in Kangen water, and you're trying to measure negative warp, it won't give you an accurate negative warp reading. Is that correct?
I didn't say it wouldn't give you an accurate negative ORP reading. I said it will take longer for you to get a negative ORP reading. It's not going to be as fast as a positive reading, but it will eventually give you a negative reading.
Okay, as I understand it, when you take the probe and you stick it in Kangen water, it starts going from 0 to the ultimate negative number. Is that right?
That is correct.
And so there's a series of numbers that pop up on the warp meter. It starts out -1, -2, and then it reaches the ultimate negative measurement, correct?
Correct.
So what you're saying is that it will take, you said.
Oxidizing,
Go ahead.
without oxidizing the probe, it could take hours to days to get the proper negative reading of Kangen water.
If you took the probe that Mr. Moore oxidized and shipped it to a customer, that would work to measure negative warp right out of the box, right?
Theoretically, yes.
Okay. So if Milwaukee wanted to, it could pre-oxidize the platinum probes to read negative warp. Is that correct?
We don't do that here.
I didn't ask if you did it. I said if you wanted to do it, it could be done.
Technically, yes.
Is there a reason you don't do that?
Yeah, the only thing we do when the product comes in is we'll take the probe out. Sometimes there'll be a salty residue on the probe, which is dried up storage solution. We clean the salty residue off of the probe. We make sure the soaker bottle has plenty of storage solution in it. We put the probe back in the soaker bottle, and then we add the tip card for the ORP into the unit, and then we obviously put a label on the box and put it on the shelf. That's our process of QC and MW500.
Okay. All right. And the tip card would be Exhibit 5?
I'm sorry?
Would you look at Exhibit 5 and tell me that's what
the one. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. And sometimes that's also called a package insert too?
Yeah.
Okay. And tip means what? These are tips for the customer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is there a reason you don't put these tips in the user manual?
This is something that Brian came up with when he was here to help the customer better understand or have a faster process of getting a negative reading with the MW500.
Okay, so this tip, what you call it, a tip sheet?
Tip card.
Okay, the tip card that we have as Exhibit 5 was specifically designed for people taking negative warp readings. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And was there some sort of concern that the user manual wasn't giving them adequate information?
No, sir.
And where in the user manual do we find adequate information or any information on the platinum probe and what you have to do to it and that sort of thing?
Well, here's the thing. It's not that you have to do it. It's like I stated, it speeds up the process to read negative ORP. So as I said, when we were talking about the instructions, whether it reads negative or positive, it reads both. It's a lot slower process reading negative ORP if you do not oxidize the probe, which this tip card tells you how to oxidize the probe.
Okay. And why don't you put instructions as to how to oxidize the probe in the user manual?
I do not know. That would be something that would need to be run by production. And as I stated earlier in this testimony, I have no ways of contacting production to let them know or to give them a suggestion to add this to the instructions. So the easiest resolution is Brian created this card right here.
Okay.
And that's why we put it in the MW500.
And when you use a product yourself personally, do you read the user manual first?
I read the instruction manual and anything else that's included. And if you were to order an MW500, this card is the first thing you see when you open the box.
Sometimes they want, a warning is so important or an instruction is so important, they put a sticker on the product. You familiar with that concept?
I have a few here that I don't have stickers on, but they're I would say like it's a little tag, like so for example, I have a small pH meter that we sell, and this tab states to remove the clear plastic tab in the battery compartment so you can turn the unit on. So, something like that I am familiar with.
Okay, and what is the reason you put that on the pH meter you're talking about?
So the customer is aware that tab must be removed in order to power up the unit.
Have you had customers who did not know that the tab was to be removed?
Yes, sir. I get calls all the time still, even with that notice is attached to the unit. They still don't remove the clear plastic tag.
Okay, and the clear plastic tag is added by Milwaukee after the pH meter comes to it from Hanna?
That's done in production.
So Hanna, or Romania puts it on there, right?
Correct.
Okay. And was it added at your request, referring to Milwaukee's?
No, sir. I have no say so.
Someone in Romania just decided this would be a good idea, did it?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Can you give me the model number of the pH meter we're talking about?
pH 600.
And so if I order this, there's this little plastic tag that's got some sort of instruction on it.
To remove the clear plastic tab in the battery compartment, yes, sir.
And has that always been on the pH 600?
As far as I can remember, yes.
Okay. And you don't know who made the decision to add that tag or sticker to the pH 600?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. And you think that's helpful to have that tag and sticker on the pH 600?
You would think so, but
Has any consideration been given by Milwaukee to put a tag on the MW 500?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. You haven't been involved in any discussion about putting a tag on it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Likewise, you have not been involved in any discussion about changing the user manual to incorporate what we have here on the tip card, correct?
Sir.
Correct?
That's right, yes, sir.
Okay. Is it your expectation that a customer that buys an MW 500 will take it out of the box to use it?
Yes.
And is there any way you can tell what year or month these pertain to?
No, I can tell you that the e-commerce messaging was up and going, I would say fourth quarter of 2019. And it started out kind of slow. And it really picked up in 2020 during the pandemic.
So prior to the fourth quarter of 2019, there was no type of messaging system. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So these messages have to be from the fourth quarter 2019 to the present, right?
Yeah.
And as far as you know, there's no way we can sort them out by month or year.
No, sir, not that I know.
Did Milwaukee represent that the MW500 Ort meter was the best meter they had?
I would say it is the best meter to use for, it's the best-selling meter for Kanawha customers.
So it's the best meter for Kangen water customers?
The best-selling, yes.
It's not the best, it's just the best seller?
Correct.
What is the best?
They're all just as accurate. There is no best.
Okay. Will you take a look at 1818, please? Quote, the MW500 is the best Ort meter we have, period.
Now, take into consideration.
Did I read that right?
You did read it right. I'm trying to make a sale, so that's why I said that.
So it's really not the best Ort meter. It's just something you were saying to make a sale.
Right. I mean, you want to talk your product up, you want to sell it. That's what I did.
So if they do it for 5 minutes, that's the right answer. Is that correct?
No.
You just told me
Because
that's not the wrong answer.
That's not the minimum 48 hours.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you think this would be good information to put in the user manual, that you should do it for a minimum of 4 to 5 days in vinegar?
I don't have any way of doing that. Yeah, it may be beneficial if they were able to add that.
It would help customer understand what to do if you put this in the user manual, correct?
And again, the tip card's there when you open the box, so why have it twice?
Well, before you had the tip card, it wasn't there at all, right?
That's right.
And so you added the tip card because you thought the customer needed information about storing it in vinegar for a minimum time, correct?
We had numerous phone calls and inquiries prior to adding the tip card. Once the tip card was added, those emails and phone calls were minimized. So the tip card has been beneficial.
So you had a lot of people that were confused about what to do before you had the tip card, correct?
I wouldn't say confused, but questions, yes.
Okay, and after the tip card, you still have people that have questions, but not as many.
Correct.
So the tip card hasn't resolved all the questions or confusion, correct?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I still have people that don't read the tip card and they don't even read the instructions. And I get calls, and that's why they don't read the instructions.
And since they don't read the instructions, you think it would be a good idea to put a little tag or...
What good would that do if they don't read the instructions?
If you put a little tag on the meter itself, do you think that would help?
It doesn't help with the battery tab on the pH unit. So why would it help with the MW unit? It's the 500.
I thought you just told me it did help with the battery tab on the pH meter.
Well, no, I still get calls.
You get less calls though, right?
This helps some, but I still get calls. My unit doesn't turn on.
Okay.
And it's because they don't read the tab that's on the unit.
Okay, well, why not put a sticker tag on the MW500 and help some people understand that there's a minimum of 4 to 5 days?
I don't have any say-so about any tag or sticker on any unit.
Okay, but in the abstract, you can see that that would be a beneficial thing to do?
Not necessarily.
I'm not saying it would help every case, but it would help some cases, such as the pH meter did, correct? Right?
That's your opinion. I don't agree.
Would it hurt anything to add that information on a sticker or tag, such as you
No,
did?
it wouldn't hurt anything, but like I said, it's your opinion that it would be beneficial. I don't see it being beneficial.
You don't think giving more information to the customer?
They're not going to read the instructions, they're not going to read a label.
Okay, bottom of 1825. Question, does the Milwaukee 500 orb electrode need to be treated with an oxidizing pretreatment? If so, what solution would I use? Did I read that right?
Yes.
And your answer is, yes, it does. The method we recommend is to store the probe tip in white distilled vinegar for a minimum of 4 to 5 days. Did I read that right?
Yes.
So this particular customer, despite having the tip card, didn't know that he should be using vinegar to oxidize the probe, correct?
You can assume that, just like I can assume he didn't read the card or he didn't read the instructions.
Okay, fair enough. So you anticipate that at least some customers will not read the card or the instructions, right?
I know that for a fact, just by talking to them on the phone, yes.
And again, you recommend a minimum 4 to 5 days here, right?
Minimum 48 hours, but on this specific statement, it does say 4 to 5 days.
So you told the customer minimum of 4 to 5 days, right?
On this message, yes.
Okay, let's go to 1832. Question, how do you calibrate the probe on the ort meter? Answer, hello, the MW500 ort meter is factory calibrated to read ort readings. In order to read negative readings, the probe tip must be oxidized. To do this, store the probe in white distilled vinegar for a minimum of 4 to 5 days. Unquote. Did I read that right?
Yes.
So in this answer, you said it's factory calibrated to read ort readings, but in order to read negative ort readings, you have to oxidize the probe tip, right?
That's what it says, but you can't read negative out of the box. You just have to oxidize the probe to get faster readings.
Okay. And you've already agreed with me that there's nothing in the user manual that says that in order to read negative readings, the probe tip must be oxidized, unquote, right?
It does not say that in the manual,
Mhm.
but it says it on the tip card that's included.
Okay. All right. And again, we have the 4 to 5 days as opposed to the 48 hours, right?
Correct.
So if you don't know how Kangen water works, why did you recommend the MW5 meter as a suitable test device for Kangen water?
Because I do know that Kangen Water customers deal with negative ORP. And ORP in general. And that's the meter we sell for that market. You're measuring millivolts. MW500 measures millivolts.
Okay, is this another thing that falls in the area of you're trying to make a sale? You don't really know if it's good for Kangen water, but you're trying to make a sale?
I did not say that. I did not say that I didn't know if it was good for Kangen water or not. I said I am not familiar with Kangen water or ionizers. I'm very familiar with my equipment and how it works.
So if the probe is being stored in a warehouse, the storage solution is supposed to keep the probe wet the whole time?
Yes, but over time it will dry out.
And by over time, are we talking weeks, months, years, what?
I'd say a couple of months. And like I said, there's no telling how long those units were sitting in the Amazon warehouse. Because they, when we were selling to them, obviously they bought bulk.
Okay, next one on 1838. I've had the probe sit in the distilled vinegar solution for 5 days. I took it out, and indeed, it and did a reading of 9.5 Kangen water yesterday. I got a very few unexpected, or a very low unexpected reading. Did I do something wrong? And you say you should soak it in 5 days for vinegar and get a negative reading. And he says he did get a negative reading, but it was minus 120, and he was expecting minus 535.
Okay, scroll down. Is there more to it?
You go, how old is the unit? And on the next page, he says, my probe, a week old. I just got it last week.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, I got his information and I sent him a new probe. So like I said near the beginning of the this testimony here, general electronics, it can last for years. You can have something go wrong in a couple of days. He obviously had a bad probe, and I was quick to replace it for him.
And then on the bottom of 1839, you call this a, quote, defective probe, unquote.
Yes.
So there were cases where
Milwaukee determined that a probe was defective, right?
Yes.
Okay. And how often did that happen?
Not very often.
Okay, can you quantify that a little better for me?
Not really. I mean,
1 out of 100, 1 out of 1,000, what?
I'd say maybe 10 out of 100.
So 10 out of 100 you have to
And when I say that, I don't mean it's bad in a week. I'd say within the warranty period, 6 months.
Okay, so 10% of the probes don't operate the way they're intended to and you replace them. Is that correct?
It is, but keep in mind that some of these are also end user error where they're not maintaining the probe properly. They're not keeping it wet, they're not cleaning it properly. They may not have validation solution to validate the leaks properly. So some of it falls on them.
But on the warranty card, you put defective probe, unquote, right?
In this particular case, yes.
And in the 10% of the examples we've given, you put that down, defective probe. Let's get a little.
It's like you put words in my mouth, and that's not how it is.
I don't want to do that. So
Yeah, I don't want to do it because it ain't.
when you fill out a warranty claim, you got to send the probe back, right?
No, not necessarily.
You send them a new probe and they send the old one to you, correct?
No.
No.
I'll get their information, and as long as I have a receipt and it's within the warranty period, I'm not going to make them mail me back a defective probe and just throw it away. But I'll go ahead and send them out a replacement probe.
And who pays for the replacement probe? Does Milwaukee bear the cost of that, or does that
Yes,
go?
we do. We take care of it.
No, but do you back bill Hanna for it?
No,
There's no adjustment made for it.
no. It comes off of our bottom line.
Okay. It comes out of your bottom line.
That's right.
Okay. But in any event, this fella claims that he was getting inconsistent readings with the probe, right?
Yes.
Or Kangen water. It says right there, Kangen water. You see that?
Yep.
Okay. And I think we looked at, previously, we looked at 2 other Kangen water people that claimed that there were inconsistent readings. You recall that?
They were inquiring. I wouldn't say they were complaining.
Fair enough. Okay. There was a discussion about 2 other Kangen water people about inconsistent readings, right?
Yes.
So now we're up to 3 people discussing this. Did Milwaukee do any sort of investigation as to what was causing the inconsistent readings with the Kangen water?
No, we don't have a Kangen water machine or ionizer or anything like that to test negative ORP here at the facility. Now, what I can do, and what I do, is before I send a replacement probe out, I will pull it, and if it's an ORP probe, I will place it in the MA9020 validation solution to validate that it's within the range of where it needs to be before it goes out. Make sure it's reading properly. And then, of course, I make sure storage solution's in the soaker bottle, put that on securely on the probe, and put it in a mailing envelope and send it on its way to the customer.
Okay, 1843, question. Is it possible to calibrate a MW500? Answer, it is factory calibrated with positive ORP out of the box. For negative readings, the probe must be stored in white distilled vinegar for a minimum of 4 to 5 days in order to get the probe to oxidize. Did I read that right?
Yes.
So you say it's positive ORP out of the box, but to get negative, you have to do more, correct?
I do state that, yes.
So it's not negative out of the box, is it?
Yes, you can read negative out the box. What I'm doing is you're saving a lot of time and a lot of effort, and you're saving the customer from being confused if you kind of simplify things, and that was my way of simplifying it.
Okay.
And I could have sat there and written, 3 paragraphs explaining everything, but, I may have been multitasking, I might have been on the phone while I was answering this, and, the white distilled vinegar is the fastest way to get negative readings. So maybe I shouldn't have read it, typed it like that, because yes, it does appear that you can't get negative readings without oxidizing, but that's not true. It just takes a lot longer to get a negative reading if you don't oxidize the probe.
Okay, but this customer is complaining he is not getting correct results for testing water.
You're right, you didn't answer my question. This is one of those customers that started the conversation, and obviously it lets me know that he's not getting correct readings, and I asked him to explain how the readings were wrong, and also how old the unit was and how the probe was being stored. He never answered.
Okay, let's skip over to 1866. Question on the bottom there. Okay, will the MW500 be suitable for testing water? I have a Kangen water, unquote, or Kangen water machine, unquote. Did I read that right? Bottom of 1866.
Yes, I see it. Yes.
Okay, did I read that right?
Yes.
And you say, quote, yes it is, unquote, right?
Yes.
So you told this customer that the MW500 was, quote, suitable for testing water, I have Kangen water, unquote, right?
Yes.
So Milwaukee was telling Kangen water customers that the MW500 was suitable for testing Kangen water, correct?
Yes.
And you knew they were doing negative ORC readings, right?
It does not say that.
But you knew the Kangen water.
But one can assume that with Kangen water, yes.
1878. Do you remember when I asked you if you had tons of Kangen water customers and you didn't really like the word tons? Remember that earlier in the deposition?
I do.
Okay, top of 1878. Whoa, I have tons of Kangen water customers.
Again, selling point.
I'm just asking what it says, okay?
Yeah.
Whoa, I have tons of Kangen water customers. The go-to ORC portable is the MW500, unquote.
That's right. That's what I said, and I did it as a selling point.
Okay, so you told a customer that you have tons of Kangen water customers, but you're telling me today that that's really not accurate.
Again, it was a selling point statement.
Okay, well, there's 2,000 pounds in a ton, so how many Kangen
Again,
water
it was a
customers?
selling point statement. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Okay. But the go-to ORC portable is the MW500 for Kangen water customers.
Selling point statement.
So that's not true? Here, let me try a different way.
It is a portable meter. That is a true statement.
Do you know
It is
one
also
way?
a selling point statement.
Okay, forgetting sales puffery here, do you know one way or the other whether the MW500 is a suitable meter to measure negative ORC for Kangen water customers?
Yes, it is.
Let's go to $1898. Okay, I think the probe on my MW500 may be faulty. I get very inconsistent readings and rarely get a negative reading on 9.5 Kangen drinking water. Most people I know get strong negative readings. Mine may dip below zero very slightly, but sometimes it is even positive. So it gives it serial number. So this is another Kangen water customer discussing inconsistent readings. Is that correct?
It appears to be, yes.
Okay, so what are we up to, 4 or 5 of these? Remember?
Something like that, yeah, 4 to 5.
Okay. All right, let's
Look,
look.
16 to 1,800 units I sell to you.
Okay. Did it ever occur to you that maybe there's a problem here with the conditioning? Did it ever occur to you that there's a potential problem with?
No, sir.
Let me finish the question.
9 times out of 10, it is end user error. They are not properly maintaining the probe.
Okay. Well, my question though is, did it ever occur to you that maybe there's a problem with using vinegar to oxidize the platinum probe that causes inconsistent readings?
No, sir.
Now, would I be correct that Milwaukee put a statement on their website that you should not use vinegar to condition a platinum probe because that will give you inconsistent readings?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay, why don't we flip to Exhibit 10, please? Quote, preparation and conditioning of probes for negative warp readings. Do you see that statement?
Yes.
Okay. Middle sentence. Platinum does not oxidize easily. This is the reason that platinum is used in jewelry and many types of industrial electronic applications. Originally, this oxidation process was accomplished by letting the probe sit in very acidic water for 4 to 5 days. However, this proved to be an inconsistent method to oxidize a probe. In many cases, the probe did not get a consistent and complete reading of oxidation, and this contributed to inconsistent readings. This problem has been corrected by the use of a conditioning and oxidation kit, Milwaukee Instrument models number MA9025.
Okay, so tell me where you say it says not to store it in vinegar. It says water, it doesn't say vinegar.
Well, it says acidic water.
Right, it does not say vinegar, which is what you said.
Okay, well, let's get some basics here. Do you recognize Exhibit 10 as a statement that was in the, today it's on the Milwaukee website?
No, sir, it is not. This is from the old website, and I can tell you that because of the fonts used in the wording.
So Exhibit 10 is not on the current website?
No, sir. If it is, show me.
Well, let me ask you a different question. How many websites does Milwaukee have on the internet now?
One, MilwaukeeInstruments.com.
So it took down the old website.
Yes.
When did it do that?
I want to say fourth quarter of 2019.
So you don't think that this document is presently available on the internet? Refer to Exhibit 10.
It is not on our website. You may be able to Google certain words or terms, and the link will pop up. And if it appears to be the font used on the new website, however, if you go to the website, you will not see it up there. And I don't know why, using keywords on Google, why that link pops up. I don't know.
You don't think that on the current website that Exhibit 10 can be obtained by clicking through? You don't think that?
I know for a fact, if you go to MilwaukeeInstruments.com, you will not find this on the website. That is correct.
Okay, listen to my question. Whether it's on the website or not, can you click through and have this pop up? The current website.
Again, as I stated, if you use certain words on Google to search, a link will pop up. But as far as going to the website, it is not directly on the website.
So if you use certain words like Milwaukee Instruments negative orb readings, this will pop up on Google, right?
Possibly, yes,
Referring to Exhibit 10.
yes.
Okay. And why doesn't Milwaukee Instruments take it all the way down?
I don't have the answer to that. I don't have any control over it.
Should Milwaukee Instruments take it all the way down?
I don't know. This is one of those things you'd have to talk to Carl about. 'Cause I actually didn't even know that this could pop up until a few days ago. So I really didn't know that it was up there.
Okay, so it's still up there for customers to read, right?
If you type in certain words in Google, yes. It's not on the website.
So basically, Milwaukee came up with this MA 9025 kit as a better way to oxidize the probe for negative orb readings. Is that correct?
Yes.
And for a time period, it sold the MA25 and recommended that that be used to oxidize the platinum probe for negative orb readings, correct?
Yes.
What time period was that?
I don't know precisely. I want to say between 2014 to 2017.
Now, would I be correct that Milwaukee was selling the MA 9025 as an add-on to the MW500 as opposed to being included with MW500 every time it was ordered?
Yeah, it was sold separate.
Why did Milwaukee Instruments discontinue selling MA 9025, the conditioning oxidation kit, in 2017?
Okay, so Orion is the one who came up with that oxidation slash reducing kit, the MA 9025, to oxidize the RP electrodes. And as you saw, it uses two different solutions, one for oxidation, one for reduction. And we included instructions inside the box. So there's a couple things. Number one, the solutions would expire. Typically, you couldn't use them more than 1 or 2 times. Number two, you had the chance of customers not rinsing in between, therefore cross-contaminating the solutions. And that essentially would, that would do away with oxidizing the probe because you're mixing solutions, you're not doing the procedure properly, so it would oxidize incorrectly. And then finally, once he decided to do the white distilled vinegar, you're doing one step instead of two. You're storing it in vinegar versus having to go back and forth between these two solutions, worried about if you're cross-contaminating or if they're expired or not. So we just kind of simplified. Not to mention, white distilled vinegar is typically in every household. You don't have to go out and spend a lot of money on it. It's fairly cheap. So that's why we did away with the kits.
Okay, so since the MW500 came out in 2011, from 2011 through 2004, Milwaukee's anticipation was that people would use vinegar to oxidize the platinum probe when they took negative orb readings. Is that correct? During 2011 to 2014, Milwaukee's...
Initially he said 2004.
Okay.
But yes, 2011 to 2014. Yes.
They were supposed to use the vinegar to oxidize the probes, correct?
I don't recall that specific time period off the top of my head.
Okay. During 2011 and 2014, that was before the
9025 kit.
That was before the MA 9025, right? Right?
Yes,
And that was before the tip card or package insert, right?
yes.
So what was it that Milwaukee thought customers would do during this time frame to oxidize the platinum probes to take negative ORP readings?
I don't recall, that was a Brian decision.
Well, you were working there in customer service during that time period, right?
You're right, but I do not recall having any kind of insert at that time included with the meter and the instruction manual.
Okay, there's nothing in the instruction manual about how they.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, I don't recall there being a card included stating to store it in vinegar in that time. There may have been, but I don't remember.
Okay, so you don't know one way or the other what the recommendation was in 2011 through 2014?
I don't recall, yes, sir.
Do you recall that there was a recommendation?
I just said I didn't.
Okay. And then from 2014 through 2017, we went to the MA 25, right?
Yep.
And then the decision was made in 2017 to get rid of that and just go to vinegar, right?
Right.
It seems to me we have 5 different conflicting messages here about oxidization, and let me go through them. 1, you advise the cleaning solution, that's Exhibit 10 we looked at, right?
Yep.
And 2, we said that acidic water doesn't work, we should use the cleaning solution, right? That's Exhibit 10 still, right?
Yes, sir.
Then 3, we said 4 to 5 days of vinegar. Recall all those we saw? Right?
I'm sorry, say that again?
3, you advised customers to soak it in vinegar for 4 to 5 days. We went through all those, right?
Yes, sir.
And 4, you advised some customers 3 to 4 days in vinegar, so that's a 4th different thing, right?
Yep.
In 5, we've got the tip card or package insert saying 48 hours vinegar, right?
Yes.
Okay. Would you agree with me that that is not totally consistent messaging to the customer?
Yes, I would agree that it is inconsistent. But at the same time, it's not an incorrect answer.
You wouldn't blame the customer for customer confusion, right?
I wouldn't blame them directly, but I mean, there is end-user error at times.
All right, okay. Let me ask you differently, sir. It would be wrong to condition the platinum probe by soaking it in vinegar for just 5 minutes, right?
Technically, it's not wrong because it can read negative out of the box. But we recommend a minimum of 48 hours.
So if you did it for 5 minutes, would I be correct that it would take hours or days to read negative?
Possibly.
Okay. So that's not the right way to do it, 5 minutes, correct?
Minimum 48 hours.
Okay. So if this customer was actually teaching people to do it for 5 minutes, that
I
would
would
be
correct him and say minimum 48 hours.
okay. All right. And with regards to the real water customer, that was a customer in Milwaukee, right?
Yes.
And you sold them quite a few meters, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you knew they were making alkaline water, right?
No, sir, I did not.
You did not know they were making alkaline water.
No, sir.
Sir, I'd like you to look at Exhibit 2, which is a series of emails that between Milwaukee and
Real water.
Real Water. Okay, so the first one goes from Amy Jones to sales at Milwaukee, asking for 10 more org meters. Would you be the one that would see this, or would this go to someone else?
Yes, sir. This comes directly to me.
Okay. So you knew there was someone named Amy Jones employed by Real Water on April 26, 2017, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, the next one over, I got 190. It's from someone named Mike Bush to the Milwaukee Sales Department. Do you see that?
It's from Mike Bush to Milwaukee Instruments Sales Department, which is my email.
Right. So do you remember emailing back and forth to Mike Bush?
I don't remember, but I mean, obviously I did because it's on the page here.
Okay. All right. And then on the next page, we have another one between you and Mike Bush, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's flip over to 192. Do you see that one?
Yes, sir.
And it says, subject, Ray, quote, calibration of ore probe / meter, unquote. See that statement?
Yeah, so the RE is a reply. This is a stream of emails. If I'm not mistaken, if you scroll down, you'll see that it's a continuation of a few emails. And the initial subject was, I believe he was asking, if you scroll down, about calibration of ORP probe / meter.
Okay, where do you see that?
If you look, well, you go back up. And of course, the subject is RE, which means reply, calibration of ORP probe / meter.
And on the bottom, I see something to that effect too, right?
Right. And see, the last message he sent, it was order intent ORP meters up top.
Okay, slow down a little bit. So on the bottom here, it says from Mike Bush, subject calibration, and there's no text there on yours, right?
Correct.
And then we go over to the next page, 193, and we see from Mike Bush, and the previous one was 2:50 p.m., right?
And well, this is a different one in general because the subject line is different.
Yeah, that's what, okay, fair. So this one's on February 22nd, 2018, 2:50, and there's no message here. There's nothing in the body of the email, right?
Right.
Well, it just seems like there's something missing to me, okay?
Well, I sent everything that I had.
I'm not suggesting you didn't, but underneath the February 22nd email where it says calibration of ore probe meter, there's no message. Right? You see, there's no message there.
And that's why I'm saying I think it got out of order.
Okay.
It wasn't scanned in order.
Okay. And at the very top, we have a different date, about a month later, and he's still saying calibration of ore probe meter. Right?
No, the one I'm currently looking at says real water order for 10.
Okay, we're on page 192, right? You got 192 there?
Oh. I'm sorry, which exhibit is this again?
This is exhibit 2, 192, on the bottom right. It's on the screen there.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So to see the top emails dated March 19, 2018, and he's talking calibration of ore probe / meter, right?
So the top part of this page is an order, and then obviously going down is in reference to, no, stay on the same page. The bottom portion of this page is in reference to the subject matter, calibration of ORP probe / meter.
But that's a different date.
I I understand that, and like I said, I think Carl did not scan these in order. That's why you're not seeing the continuation of the subject matter, calibration of ORP probe/me.
So you think there's something missing here?
It's not in order. Yes, because there should be a continuation of this email.
Right, so they're, after it says from Mike Bush, February 22nd, 2019, there should be something.
So I'm saying it's not missing, it's not in order. Because I gave him everything I had.
Okay. But there's no text here, there's no inquiry being made.
I understand that.
Okay, let's focus on how this came about, all right? So Mr. Savaggio, in your absence, produced these emails, correct?
Yes.
And have you gone back and looked to see if there is a more complete email or more emails?
He has scanned everything that I have.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, he may have gotten a page or two out of order. That's why you're not seeing the continuance of this email.
Okay. But in all these emails, or none of these emails, do I see anything about calibration other than this title here?
Okay?
Okay. Let me ask a little bit, please. You still have your emails, right?
I do.
Is there a way you can go back and see if there's more to this February 22nd, 2019 email than what we have in Exhibit 2?
I can, yes, sir.
Do that now here, or does that take some time, or what?
Yeah, I can do it here.
How long would it take?
Let's see, if I bring it up on the screen, you'll be able to see it, right? Calibration of ORP.
Calibration or probe meter, right.
Can you see what I'm doing?
Not yet. Do I have to hit something? Oh, you have to hit share screen, the court reporter says?
So, like that?
Not yet.
No.
Now, let me ask a little bit. Underneath this February 22nd, 2019 one, do you have something with some text or something?
Okay, I've got the email here that I was talking about that has everything up here. All right, so I'm on screen share. So let's see. Has that got it? Yeah. Can you see that?
Yeah. Okay, this February, let's stop.
Let me scroll back up here.
Now let's focus on this one February 19 one.
Okay, so your page starts right here. We would like to order 10 ORP meters, right?
Right.
So I tell them, thank you for the order, this will ship out tomorrow, It gives me a thumbs up. So let's scroll back down. Good afternoon, Mike. Here's a link from our website. Hope this information is helpful. And this is simply the conditioning negative RP probe link that was on the old site. And as you see,
Stop. So that reference there is Exhibit 10, right?
yes, sir. And as you can see by the date here, where my cursor is, this is March 19th. So obviously this is before the new site was up. This is the old website.
So the email to Mr. Brown, that's Exhibit 2, page 192, the reference to the information there that you're forwarding to him, that is Exhibit 10, correct?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
If I scroll down a little further, you'll see that he is asking, hello, please send us instructions on how to properly calibrate our older ORP probe/meters. Do the new meters need to be calibrated, which, you know, they're factory calibrated, so it's, you're conditioning the probe, you're not calibrating the unit.
So on the bottom of page 192, Exhibit 2, that does not have the text of the message, right?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
On the bottom, on Exhibit 2, in your book there, at the bottom, page 192, for some reason the text of that February 22nd email is not included.
Yeah, like I said, Carl's the one who scanned the stuff, so.
I'm not assigning any blame here, I'm just trying to get to the bottom. So could you read it to me real slow one more time and show us on screen?
Which part?
The body of the February 22nd, 2019 email from Mr. Bush.
Hello, please send us instructions on how to properly calibrate our older ORP probes/meters. Do the new meters need to be calibrated?
Okay. All right. And so what you sent him is
I
Exhibit
sent
10.
him the link that shows you how to condition the probe,
Okay.
speed up the process of reading negative ORP.
Okay. So you sent him the link that recommended using MA 9025, correct?
Let's see.
The Exhibit 10 says, quote, "This problem has been corrected by the use of conditioning and oxidation kit, Milwaukee Instruments model number MA 9025.
Yes.
Okay? And you sent that to him on March 18th, 2018, correct?
Yes.
And on the date you sent it to him, the conditioning, the MA 9025 had been discontinued for approximately a year?
2017, I believe it was.
Approximately a year, right?
Yeah.
So when he asked you how to calibrate the probe on February 2019, you told him to use the MA 9025, but that had been discontinued for a year.
I may have had a conversation with him. I don't recall because it's been 4 years, just about. But he still may have had a 9025 kit, and that's why I sent him that.
Okay.
That's a possibility.
So you thought when you were talking to Mr. Brown that they had cleaning kits, and that's why you recommended, or that's why you sent him the link to Exhibit 10, right?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Okay. And what you should have done, if you had known he didn't have a cleaning kit, is tell him to put it in vinegar for 4 to 5 days, right?
Yes.
That was your mistake?
That was my mistake, yes, sir.
So you would agree with me that when Real Water asked for information on how to calibrate, that you did not give them the correct information?
I did not give them the correct information because I thought they were the one that had the kit, that is right.
Okay. So you would agree with me that if Real Water wasn't calibrating the meter correctly, that...
But there is no calibrate the meter, no.
I mean, I'm sorry, I misspoke. You would agree with me that if Real Water is not oxidizing the platinum probes correctly, that Milwaukee shares some responsibility with regards to that issue. You said it was your mistake, right?
Right, giving them the 9025 instructions was incorrect.
Okay, so would you agree with me that Milwaukee Instruments shares some responsibility if Real Water did not understand how to oxidize the platinum probe?
No, because he didn't come back and say, I I don't understand these instructions. He would have clearly done that via email if he was confused on something. He communicates very well in this email. As you saw, we have a stream of emails going back and forth. We communicated very well. So if there was any question or any doubt, he would have said something.
Okay. All right, and you'll also agree with me that the Exhibit 3, there's no sales by Milwaukee of cleaning solutions in real water, Nevada, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, you have said maybe you had a conversation with Mr. Bush. Do you remember one way or the other?
No, I don't. And I'm not saying that I did, because I talked with numerous people a day.
Okay.
Can we pause?
Have you now told me everything you can remember about it?
I just want to make sure, if one of the panel members need to take a break? Okay. I thought that was a good time, maybe I'll take a break. And so what we'll do, we'll take a quick break. What is it, another 10, 15 minutes on the testimony?
I think less than 10, Your Honor.
Okay. We'll take 10 minutes.
Yes, Your Honor, 10 minutes.
You're admonished not to converse amongst yourselves with anyone else on any subject connected with this trial, or to read, watch, or listen to the report of all commentary on the trial of any persons connected with this case. Remember, no newspaper, television, radio, no social media, and last but not least, you're not to form or express any opinion on any subject connected with the trial until it's time for jury deliberations. And they'll be in your custody for 10 minutes. Sir.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. All rights to the court to adjourn. All clear. Please excuse me. Thank you.
We'll take 10.